Gina Paulus here. Today we're going to work on a standing upper body stretch routine. The first thing I'd like you to do is stretch your right arm up to the ceiling, and then you're going to bend it to allow your fingers to reach down the base of your neck. You can take your left arm and lightly pull the elbow back. What we're doing here is we're stretching the triceps, which run along the back of the arm. Make sure that you're not leaning to the side and you're not letting your back arch too much. So think of tightening your abs a bit and stretching tall. All right, so stretch both arms up and then bend the left one and pull that one behind your head. Try to keep your fingers relaxed and your fingers are draped right over the top of your spine. Just pull as much as you need to feel the stretch in the back of that left arm. If you have trouble keeping your arm up in that position as well, you can use the other arm more to support the arm rather than pull from above. You can hold it from at the front. That sometimes is a little bit more comfortable if you have really tight shoulders. All right, shake those arms out. Next, what we're going to do is a lat stretch. So once again, you can reach your right arm up and bend it, but this time we're not going to bend the elbow quite as much. You can grasp your left delt or your left shoulder with your right hand. Now we're going to lightly pull the body to the left, but you don't want to let your hips move very much. So we're trying to isolate this stretch more to the lats, which are going to be this part of your body. And then once you've got that feeling of the pull, you can experiment with pushing your hips out and see if it intensifies the stretch in your lats. If it doesn't, you want to go back up to neutral. But if it does, you can feel free to stay with those hips sticking out to the side. Both arms up, and we'll do the other side. So you're bending your left, you're grasping your right shoulder, and you're pulling to the left. Make sure that you're not holding your breath. You're taking deep breaths as you hold the stretch. All right, next we're going to do a shoulder stretch. So I'd like you to take your right arm and lift it in front, and then we're going to bring that right across the body. I'd like you to do that with a straight arm and without hiking your shoulder up super high. So check in that your shoulders are even and your elbow is straight. You might be here in front and that's totally fine, or you might be way across and that's fine too. You just do what you can and hold it in stillness for about 20 seconds. All right, and do the other side. I do find it's better to grasp the forearm below like I'm doing now. If you try to reach up, it's just too much on the other side. So it's really important when you're stretching to keep the rest of your body relaxed, the parts of your body that aren't engaged in the stretch. So we're making sure to keep that left shoulder down, we're keeping the elbow straight. And you're thinking of your bicep, the front of the arm here, almost like it's folding in toward your chest. All right. Let your arms shake out a bit. Next, we'll do a similar one, but this time it's going to be with arms bent. So you can take your right arm, bring it up in front, and then go ahead and bend it at the elbow. Now we're going to grab that back of the elbow with the left hand, and you're imagining like you're hugging a giant ball between your forearms. So I don't want you to close in, but rather I want you to keep about a foot of space between your hand and your shoulder. But now we're trying to pull the arm across the body. And you want to keep your palm facing you. So if your palm's facing the floor, that's not good. You want to make sure it's facing your body. And we'll just hold that one. All right, and switch it up. So bending your left arm, grabbing just above the elbow, making sure you're not hiking like I just did. Checking in is so important. You're keeping your beach ball, your imaginary beach ball there between your forearm and your shoulder. All right, we're going to move into the neck next. So I'd like you to take your right arm and you're going to reach it behind your back and see if you can grasp your elbow on your left arm. If you're unable to do that, simply place the arm behind your body. That's totally fine. All right, so then next what we'll do is we'll take the left ear and gently move it toward the left shoulder. You're not dipping your head forward, you're not leaning it way back, you're trying to stay neutral. So if you were looking at yourself in the mirror, your face would be straight on. And just thinking ear towards shoulder, you're not pushing, you're not forcing. All right, release that one and switch it up. So grab right elbow with your left hand, and then we're tipping the right ear toward that shoulder. Having a mirror is really helpful, or you can even put your phone on video and see yourself doing it, just because it's really hard to sense where your body is in space, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with stretching. So that's a good tip you can employ if you're finding it hard to keep your form where you want it to be. All right, you can release that. So we're going to work on some forearms next. I'd like you to take your right hand, you're going to stick it straight forward, and then you're going to take your left hand and lightly pull the fingers down towards the floor. So again, we're not cranking on it, you're just giving a little bit of pull there, trying your best to keep your fingers as straight as possible, and trying not to lean back. Very, very tempting to arch our back when we're doing this one. So you're going to lightly engage your abs so that you do not lean back. And switch. Pulling the left fingers down this time. Try to have your forearm even, so if your hand is tilted like that, that isn't as good as if it's straight, so do your best to keep that hand nice and straight. All right, now we'll do the same thing, but this time it'll be fingers down with our palm facing us. So the opposite motion of the hand that we just did. And this one you shouldn't apply quite as much pressure because it's a little bit more sensitive, the top of the wrist. So you just enough pressure to feel that light stretch. Especially for days that you're spending a lot of time at the office, these forearm and hand stretches can really feel great. Other side. Things like pull-ups or even just holding heavy dumbbells also can put a stress on those forearms. So any of those things, definitely take the time to stretch them out. All right, and next we will do a neck and hand and wrist one all in one. So you'll take your fingers, interlace them, palms out, reach up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're super flexy, you can straighten your elbows. If this is a lot for you, feel free to keep them slightly bent, it's no problem. But from here, what we'll do is, keeping your back straight, you're going to tip your chin up and look toward your hands. Now, this might be partial, you might not be able to look all the way toward your hands. Just head in that direction and hold it where you feel you can stay in stillness for at least the 20 seconds. Great. Now we'll do a neck stretch with just the chin and neck moving with the rest of the body still. So I'd like you to take your neck. We're going to stretch up lightly through the head. So imagine there's a string coming up the top of your head and you're just getting pulled ever so slightly up. Once you've got that lift, you're going to tuck your chin a bit. So now you're looking at your chest. And if that feels okay, you can let your head go further. But you don't want to go to the point that your back starts to round. So if you can place your hands on your back and feel, that's great because that gives you that feedback. Otherwise, you can put your back against the wall and you'll be able to feel if you start curling forward. So we want this to just be neck. So remember, stretch tall, neck down, and then a little bit more curl. And then once you've got a position that feels good, try to fix your eyes on a spot on the floor and just stay there. Because if we start moving our eyes around, it's going to change the neck musculature and how it's stretched. And you can come on up. All right, final one will be a chest and thoracic spine opener. Thoracic spine is going to be that middle back. So we'll place the arms in a football goalpost position, 90 degrees bent at the elbow. Next, what we'll do is pull your elbows behind your body as much as you can, but without letting your back arch. Hold that for 2 seconds. Now you're going to bring your elbows close, have palms touch, and you can look down a bit. You're letting your upper back round a bit. Hold that for 2 seconds. So from the side, it looks like this. Back, hold for 2, round, hold for 2. Now if you feel good about it, you can lift your chin a bit on this part. Just make sure that you don't let your back arch any more than it already is. And then forward for 2. So we'll do another 3 of each of those. All right, then we'll finish up. Last one will be wrist circles. So you can make a fist, and we're going to draw giant circles with the wrists. Pretend like you've got a paintbrush and you're making the biggest circle you possibly can. No missed corners. We'll do 5 one way, and then reverse it for 5 the other way. Forearms stay pretty stable. We're really just moving the wrist and hand. All right, so that is your standing upper body stretch routine.